How did we come up with the distinction between the bony pelvis and the soft tissue? And how did we end up focusing on the inside of the body rather than the outside of the body? Well, babies don't come through the outside of the body, they come through the inside of our body. Most of us as women don't have a clue about what's in our body, whether we think we do or not. And men don't really understand that, really. Their penis is right out there. If an object this big was coming through their penis, they'd see it. We don't see it. The cervix is sort of like a vague thing up there that, well, maybe we've touched it, maybe we've looked at it, a guy's bumped into it, maybe we've had a cervical orgasm. But yeah, we don't really fully understand. And the messages about the cervix in childbirth are even vaguer. The cervix pulls up. No, it doesn't. Right? No, it doesn't pull up. Things that pull up don't dilate. In order to dilate, they have to retract outward. So the fact is that the cervix, the uterus, pulls on this muscle. And I got criticized once for using the word muscle. Well, the cervix has 50% muscle cells and 50% connective tissue cells. Connective tissues and muscles are in the same category as soft tissues. So the uterus has a contraction and it pulls open this cervix, and it pulls it open until it's the inside of this bony pelvis, which most of us is like, where, what, and huh? And so we had to develop skills that made sense. So the inside, where the inside of your pelvis is, the soft tissue, is sort of in the middle of your pubic bone, and your hips above where your legs meet, and you draw a line across sort of in the middle of your sacrum. And that's where the cervix is going to pull back into. And when anybody feels inside you, you can really only feel the front. Now, Australian obstetricians for years did rectal exams because the rectum is really in the middle, right there. The vagina is up towards the pubic bone, which means that when we're living, and you've learned about this in the other one, is the pelvis is really tilted like this. And when the baby's born, it doesn't come down like this. As you've learned, what it does is the pelvis, it comes around this pubic bone to the vagina, right? And the bone that you've learned about that moves is the sacrum. And the soft tissue controls the movement of the sacrum. So when you did the body skills, if you felt your body moved very easily, that meant your soft tissue was pliable. If it felt stiff, your soft tissue was rigid. So you need to keep softening in your soft tissue. And the soft tissue is connected to everything. Our skin's our soft tissue. Our fat is our soft tissue. Our muscles are our soft tissue. Our ligaments and tendons, everything that sticks the muscles to the bones, everything is soft tissue. And it's all one sheet, so it's connected. So if we have tension in other parts of our body, we have to consciously soften on the inside. That doesn't mean we can't have tension elsewhere. So for instance, lift your shoulders and soften inside your pelvis. You can do that, okay? Tense up inside your pelvis and soften your shoulders. You can do that as well. So we need to focus on there. If women have their shoulders up here during birth, who cares? Babies aren't coming out there. They're coming out down there. So we need to learn how to soften the inside of the pelvis to help the cervix open. So in this lesson, you're going to learn that, the pelvic clock, and you'll learn the cervical softening as well, or the cervical pelvic clock, or the cervical relaxation, because there are times that that ring in that cervix, as it's thinned out and begins to dilate, it can be quite rigid. The same way the ending part of our vagina, the ring of fire, can be quite rigid. So when you do the internal work and prepare all that soft tissue in your vagina for 5 minutes a day from 32 weeks onward, you're reducing that rigidity in the ring of fire and all of the muscles on the inside of your vagina. So when we dealt with the cervical relaxation, it was because women's labors weren't progressing, and we needed to make certain they could. So you could mentally soften the cervix with intent. And it works. Because if I sit there and say to you now, soften inside your forehead, you will do it. Soften between your ears, you'll do it. Soften in your throat, you'll do it. Our bodies will respond to our command. And the reason we use soften was we found the word relax didn't work. So in any language, there is a word that distinguishes between relax and to soften, and our soft tissue responds to soften.